We eat a lot of garlic, but even with a small garden, we can grow all of the garlic we need. Garlic is incredibly easy to grow in many climates, and a great crop for beginning gardeners. Today I'll share how we grow garlic from clove to bulb. There are two basic kinds of garlic, hardneck and softneck. As the names imply, hardneck garlic has a stiff stem, and softneck garlic has a more pliable stem that falls over when it's ready to harvest. We usually grow hardneck varieties because they're more cold hardy. Some popular hardnecks include Music, Siberian, and Spanish Roja. As a rule, hardnecks don't store as well as softnecks, but Music garlic, which we grow, stores very well and lasted from last year's harvest to the beginning of this year's. Hardneck garlic is typically planted in the fall. Softneck garlic is what you usually find in grocery stores. Though generally not as cold hardy as hardnecks, there are varieties that can handle our winters. Softneck garlic can be planted in very early spring, but produces larger, more flavorful bulbs when planted in the fall. Softneck varieties include Inchellium Red, California Early White, and California Late White. I should also mention elephant garlic. Though it's related to garlic, it's not actually a true garlic and is more closely related to leeks. Elephant garlic has much larger but fewer bulbs and a mild garlic flavor. It's not as cold hardy as garlic and sometimes doesn't survive the winter when planted in the fall here in Zone 5. So it's probably best if you're in a colder climate to start elephant garlic early in the spring, but if you're in a warm climate, you can plant it in the spring or the fall. Garlic grows best in full sun but tolerates partial shade. It prefers fertile, well-drained soil with plenty of compost and a pH between 6 and 7. When planted in the fall in colder climates, garlic goes dormant over the winter and resumes growth in the spring when the soil temperature warms. Garlic grows best when the soil temperature is between 55 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Garlic isn't a heavy feeder, and like all crops in our garden, does very well with an annual application of compost or vermicompost. We also keep it mulched with leaves and other free local resources. We get garlic for planting from 3 different sources: commercial seed suppliers, organic garlic from grocery stores, and garlic that we've saved from the previous harvest. This year's crop of Music garlic was grown from bulbs I purchased from an online seed supplier. Ideally, I'd like to grow all of our garlic from saved cloves, rather than garlic from expensive online suppliers. So I'll save some of the largest bulbs from this harvest for planting in the fall. Other than using saved bulbs from your last harvest, the least expensive source you can usually find is organic garlic from the store. It's important to only plant organic garlic because unlike conventional garlic, it isn't sprayed with growth inhibitors that prevent sprouting. Rather than planting all of our garlic in one bed, we like to plant it in a variety of locations around the garden next to unrelated crops. This makes it more difficult for pests to find their desired crops, and it reduces disease issues that are more common in monoculture beds. In addition, we practice crop rotation, and we don't plant garlic in the same exact location where we planted it or other onion-related crops like onions, leeks, and shallots over the past couple of years. We amend our beds with compost and or vermicompost each year and plant garlic in late October, a couple weeks after our average first frost date. If you plant too early, the garlic greens can grow and die back from the cold multiple times, which can reduce bulb size. We don't separate the cloves from the bulb until we're ready to plant. This keeps the root nodules on the cloves from drying out and helps the garlic establish roots quickly. We plant cloves pointy side up, blunt side down, in holes about 3 inches deep and 4 to 6 inches apart. Of course, you could also create a 3-inch deep trench, plant the cloves in it, and cover them with soil. After planting, we mulch with autumn leaves. This protects the garlic from cold during the winter, suppresses weeds in the spring, makes the soil more friable by attracting earthworms to the area, and it conserves moisture in the soil. In the spring, we pull back some of the mulch to make sure that it isn't suppressing growth of new green garlic shoots. And as the mulch decomposes, we add more like grass clippings and comfrey to make sure the ground stays covered. Garlic doesn't require much water, and as a rule, we get enough rain that we don't have to water it. If you live in a dry climate, it should do well with about 1 inch or 2 of water per week during the growing season. About a month before your hardneck garlic is ready to harvest, you can start enjoying garlic goodness from your garden by harvesting garlic scapes. They have a delicious mild garlic flavor and are a great substitute for garlic in recipes. It's believed that removing the scapes increases bulb size by redirecting more of the plant's energy to the bulb instead of the scape. We harvest them when they've formed at least one loop and we cut them at the bottom of the stalk without cutting the garlic leaves themselves. It's now late July, and we've been harvesting garlic as needed for meals for the last few weeks, and we have several bulbs curing. Now it's time to harvest the last of our crop. You know, softneck garlic is ready to harvest when the top flops over, and hardneck is ready when at least a few of the leaves have turned yellow. This hardneck music garlic is definitely ready to harvest. We usually start harvesting garlic in early July, and we finish in late July. Garlic should be picked on a dry day, and it's best to stop watering a couple weeks before harvesting. Depending on your soil type, you may need a garden fork to harvest garlic, but our soil is friable enough that we can just pull it up by the stem. Now that we've harvested the garlic, it's time to cure it. The curing process prepares garlic for storage. Curing allows garlic to dry evenly without spoilage in preparation for storage over winter. It's done by either hanging or placing the garlic on racks in a shady, well-ventilated dry area for at least a couple weeks. For example, a covered porch or a shed with an open door are excellent locations to cure garlic. We're hanging ours in a hoop house and covering the area with a blue tarp. If you cure garlic inside, a fan will improve air circulation and allow the garlic to dry more evenly. Garlic is one of the easiest crops to store over the winter. Softneck varieties tend to store better, but the hardneck music garlic that we grew last year lasted long enough that we didn't have to buy any garlic from the store for meals. After garlic has cured, we cut the stems to about 1 inch, trim the roots, and gently brush off remaining soil. If the garlic is very dirty, we might remove a layer or two of the wrapper until the bulb is clean. Before storing, we separate damaged bulbs from healthy bulbs and use the damaged ones first, because they probably won't store very well. We also select the largest, healthiest bulbs that we'll use as seed garlic in the fall. We store our garlic in mesh bags in a cool, dry, dark cupboard. You can also use paper bags, woven baskets, and cardboard boxes, as long as the container is breathable. Fortunately, it's very easy to save garlic that we've harvested from our garden to plant in the fall for the next crop. As I mentioned earlier, we save the largest bulbs from our summer harvest to plant in the fall. This will give us larger bulbs in the next crop. Saving garlic year after year for planting allows it to adapt to local climate and growing conditions over time. We store our seed garlic just like the garlic we stored for meals, and we leave the bulbs intact until we're ready to plant in October. Temperatures between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit cause garlic to sprout, so we make sure to always store our seed garlic at room temperature so it doesn't sprout before we're ready to plant. I hope this video gave you some useful information on how to grow, cure, and store garlic. Please let me know in a comment below if you have any questions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos on how to grow a lot of food on a little land without spending much or working harder than you have to.